Good evening, councillors, and welcome to this Sandwich Town Council ordinary meeting of the council on the Monday the 30th of October 2023, which I'm saying so the camera picks it up to know. Item number one, Chair's opening remarks. And my opening remarks this evening are very short and sweet, so which is good. Number one, I'd like to confirm, and it's very good to have her here, that the Assistant Town Clerk has now started and is getting well into the work that is required here. So would you like to stand up and just introduce yourself? You'll say that you wish you hadn't come tonight. So.
Hello, if I haven't met you already, I'm Chloe. Obviously only been here for a few days, but looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you very much. So, but I must say, obviously in the recruitment process, Chloe came out massively on top, and a lot of the professional qualifications that she has, we're hoping to utilise to a great extent here in the council. So thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to your input and help with the town clerk. Thank you for that. So, then also on top of that, the other thing that I have to mention, which I was quite appreciative of, is that downstairs the office area within the Guildhall for the council officers has been rearranged, which has offered a better and more efficient working environment. And we have the two senior officers of the town clerk and the responsible financial officer having their own offices, so they can concentrate and get on with the work required of them down there, which is good. It's nice to see everybody settling in and making their own mark there. So I also wanted to raise that the museum coordinator had put on a very good exhibition about Bronzer, which was at the far end of the courtroom, and of course this exhibition was put on partly due to the visit of Bronzer dignitaries from the town, but if anybody's got the opportunity to go and see that, or if there's anybody else that'd be interested, please direct them to that. The museum coordinator does undertake a large number of tasks and efforts to put the town on the map, so I'd appreciate it if people expand on what she's doing there, so which is good. The Mayor and Mayoress have undertaken 12 civic, charitable or mayoral events this month, and in fact the Mayoress herself undertook a couple of mayoral events entirely on her own. One was because I had an injury, but the other one was she was actually asked to open a new business at Discovery Park, and instead of wanting me, they wanted the Mayoress, which I thought was an excellent opportunity. So and she rose to the occasion nicely, which was there. So then the other thing was that the recruitment of the assets manager is well underway. And did we have a date, Town Clerk, for the shortlisting or interviews?
Sorry, from memory, I think the closing date is the 10th of November. So the interviews will hopefully be within 14 days of that closing date.
Of that closing date. So hopefully we could have the asset manager in, bearing in mind he might need a month's notice, probably sometime in December. Or she, sorry, beg your pardon. I'm well corrected, thank you very much. So that's good there. And then lastly, what I wanted to mention was I really wanted to make this public as well. Thanks to the town clerk and the Guildhall staff, on last Friday we had probably one of the most historic and momentous occasions in the town that I can remember in my 17 years here, and I was absolutely astounded and astonished by these new members of staff and this new team coming together and working together so well to put on that event, and that was really, really incredible. There was a lot of fine detail that was required, and we were hosting the mayor and councillors from Bronxa itself, so it was really good to see that go like clockwork, and I'm really appreciative of all the works that they did. So I think it was really well noticed, that one. So. Okay, that's all my opening remarks presently. Item number 2, apologies for absence received, please, Town Clerk.
Thank you very much. So we have apologies from Councillor Gray, a travel commitment. Apologies from Councillor Pennington, a travel commitment. And Councillor Tomlins, a travel commitment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So, and item number 3 is declarations of interest. And this is to receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests from members in respect of business to be transacted on this agenda tonight. If you do have any declarations, please make those now, and the Town Clerk will note them down. Thank you.
Well, from my point of view, Mr. Mayor, as you know, my principal residence is next door to the Maddox property, and so I do have a significant interest in the security in terms of vandalism, in terms of fire, in terms of tipping, in terms of squatters. So in respect of property matters, should we be discussing property matters in relation to those aspects, I would declare a significant interest.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Preen. That's very helpful. Item number 4, minutes of the full council meeting. And the first one is to approve the minutes of the ordinary meeting of Sandwich Town Council held on the 25th of September 2023, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. And this is attachment number 1. Now there was an amendment to,
Yes.
Indeed, Town Clerk has an amendment in relation to one of the items on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So STC 0923.17, committee membership review. I'm proposing that that's amended. Councillor M. Pennington be temporarily removed from the committee membership, and Councillor I. Black be confirmed as joining F&GP committee until Councillor M. Pennington returned and the situation can be reviewed.
So I'd like to put that amendment forward. I'll propose that if somebody could second it, and then we need to vote on that. Councillor Morehouse?
Second.
Thank you very much. And all those in favour of that amendment? Okay, thank you. That's passed. Thank you very much.
Does anyone want to abstain or against?
Oh, any abstentions or against that vote at all? No, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I say that, Mr. Mayor, I'm
Thank you.
quite prepared to do this interim arrangement.
I see. Thank you very much, Councillor Black. That's very helpful of you. I'm very grateful to you.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, while we're talking about that item, I did notice that on the schedule of committees, the HR committee is not included in that schedule, and I really do think that the nominations for the HR committee should be clearly established, and there should be a remit for the HR committee. And I do feel that the HR committee should have primary responsibility for the health and safety of the employees and volunteers to Sandwich Town Council. And I also think that the members of the HR committee should be drawn from those people who have a lot of HR experience, and in particular Councillor Black, who was a HR director on large institutions, I feel should be, we should avail of his talents and skills and experience, and that should be on there. So I would ask the Town Clerk to please make sure that each of the committees, the terms of reference are available, because I'm not sure that the terms of reference are available for all of the committees, and if they're not available, they should be brought to future meetings. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Town Clerk, yes, please.
So I've started work on the terms of reference. There have been a couple of meetings with some members about the terms of reference. I've brought it to the Finance and General Purposes Committee. but it's my intention to bring that to the November STC meeting, but I want to share them with members well ahead of that STC meeting, so there's plenty of opportunity for feedback and everyone to obviously digest the information, because it's going to be quite a lot of information.
Thank you very much, that town clerk. That's good. The second item is to approve the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of Sam.
Firstly, we didn't approve the previous minutes, but I did have some comments to make, if that's all right.
Oh, indeed. I beg your pardon. Sorry.
That's okay.
Councillor Tuker.
Following up on a few of the actions that were captured at that meeting, but also previously. So, the STC meeting with Stagecoach and DDC, it's predicated, I understand, on the provision of safety audit documents from DDC, Daily Parish in particular. Have those been provided yet?
Yes, I have received those late last week, so with everything else that's been going on, I haven't had an opportunity to share them, but that will be something I will be doing this week.
So that means we can move forward to that important meeting that still leaves the outstanding issue around the siting of the bus stop. There was also an action for the town clerk to report to STC on the budget for the allotments. Originally raised as an action in June, but still outstanding. Is that being picked up soon?
Yes, so now that Chloe's on board, she is an allotment guru, I can't deny. So I want to progress this with Chloe and Councillor Wiles as well, because it's important that we now progress this, because the renewals are due in January. So you know, to make sure that we are in line with the income generation, making sure that people have their licence and everything like that. So it will be something that Chloe and Councillor Wiles as well.
I don't think Councillor Wiles is on the allotment committee yet, is he? And I'm a bit concerned because Councillor Wiles is an allotment holder. So perhaps it should be someone that's sort of neutral.
Sorry, I wasn't talking about the allotment working group.
No.
I'm just talking about making sure that we get the invoices out, we get the income generated, and work on the allotment working group forming. So we haven't had
You were
that.
talking about hard charges, surely, weren't you? You were talking about hard charges,
Yes.
which comes under that. That's what I was just saying. I think it should be a neutral.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was only going to draw on Councillor Wiles' experience, because he is an allotment holder, and I don't know the allotment site. So that's all I mean. It really is for him to take me and Chloe around. I've walked around myself, but I haven't been around the second allotment site yet. So I have been approached by somebody that's an allotment
You might
holder.
keep the prices down though.
Councillor, sorry, you can.
Sorry, just to be clear on this with the fees as well, you do need to give a year's notice on the fees. So we need to have the conversation about what correspondence was sent last year, because we haven't been able to locate that. So I'd appreciate anyone that is an allotment holder, if I can have that conversation with them. Thank you.
So a reply from Councillor Wiles just on that, if that's okay, Councillor Tuker.
Yeah, sorry. So I took the town clerk around the Bart's allotments a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I mean, I'm quite willing to be involved as an allotment holder. I'm not sure I can wear two hats, but I have had many 30 years of experience of being an allotment holder, and there are issues at those allotments which we do need to address, one of which is the notices need to be sent out in January, because that gives allotment holders a chance to give up their plots. If you leave it till March or April, by that time the weeds are this high and people won't take them on. So it needs to be much better managed, and we need to think about involving the plot holders in some kind of committee or subgroup or management group.
Could we add this to the future agenda?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Councillor Tuker, would you like to continue, please?
A couple more. So under the public participation item at the last meeting, we have representation from the sandwich shop, and the town clerk was going to write to the person who presented their case by letter to the points that were raised. Has that been done?
No, that hasn't.
And that will be done, won't it? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Councillor Chalmers is brilliant, but one of the actions that we discussed in your absence last time was relating to the roadworks just outside on Harnett Street, Dell Street Junction. You might be able to give updates today if not, I've been pursuing it separately as well, so I might have an answer for the next meeting, hopefully.
Well, thank you for that.
We also had outside bodies report. We talked about the Sandwich United Charities. Will that be coming back into the council to give us an update of the response? I believe a response might have been received, but without Councillor Gray here, it would be good to do it with his presence.
I believe it will town clerk.
Yes, we have received a response, and I was going to wait for the extraordinary meeting that I think will be scheduled in early November.
Absolutely.
Can I just ask, is that a response from the charities, or from the charity, or from the charity commission?
From the charity commission.
Councillor Black.
Yes, thank you. I've got 2 or 3 points that's coming from the minutes. I think some of them covered already, but you've got a note in there about the aqua park and how we're going to handle the noise issues there in the meeting. I would also like to make the point that the aqua park is a major tourist attraction, and it is something I think that if we establish the tourism forum, they really need to be invited. They're a completely different market to the traditional market of Sandwich, and they've got cash.
Indeed.
And we really should be bringing them in. We have an issue with noise, I accept that, but that's the first point. The next point I've got is, hang on a minute, last thing is gone, hey, where are we? Yeah, is there, are we discussing today a group that's going to meet market traders? Because I couldn't quite see it on the agenda.
That's right, yeah, I believe that's item 22.
Okay, my mistake then, thank you. And then the other thing was, when you circulate the safety audits, will that be to all councillors or just the group that's working on it?
I was intending to be all councillors.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And the very last item I've got is the issue about, oh crikey, no, leave it, it's gone,
Okay.
It's gone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Wiles.
Sorry, another update, 09-23-4, we were asked for an update about wayfarers from Councillor Chandler, I believe. I don't know if that's included in the report today, but it'd be good to know what's going on
It
there.
looks like that may be in the Kent County Councillor's report, so
Okay.
thank you for that. If it's not, then obviously we'd follow up on that town clerk there. Thank you. Are there any more questions about the minutes of the meeting? No? Okay then. So I'd like a proposer and a seconder for the minutes, please. Thank you very much. And Councillor Morehouse is seconding. And all those in favour of the minutes with the amendment given?
Thank you.
Okay, and any abstentions or against? No? Okay, thank you very much, that's carried.
Yes.
Thank you there. So I'll continue where I've got this before. To approve the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of Sandwich Town Council held on the 5th of October 2023, and to consider any matters arising for those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. And this is attachment 2A. Did we have any questions or queries on those? Councillor Black?
Yes, could I just, have we got an update on the fair trade progress? Because obviously it's an important item, and I think we're going to try to invite somebody from Deal who's been in that process for some while.
Indeed,
Yeah, that isn't an action that I've had capacity to do at the moment, but it's
Okay.
something that's still in the pipeline.
I appreciate the workload.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Councillor Murray?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Further to that question from Councillor Black, myself and Councillor Mrs. Carter had a conversation after the meeting. The Dover and Deal Fair Trade guys would be invited to have a free stall on the square for the Sam's Light Switch on.
Thank you very much for that. Right, if there's not any more questions on that particular item, could I have a proposer and a seconder for those minutes, please? Councillor Morehouse proposing, and Councillor Carter seconding, I believe. And all those in favour of those minutes, please show with your cards. Okay, and any abstentions? One abstention.
Two
Oh, two, sorry, two.
Yeah.
Two abstentions, thank you. And any against? think that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay. To receive the minutes of the Heritage and Townscape committee meeting, which was held on the 11th of September 2023, and this is attachment 2B. Are there any questions on this particular item?
Yes.
Indeed. Could you stand, please, Councillor Anderson?
I just wanted to point out that we're out of sync with the minutes, and I'm hoping that at some point we'll catch up. And I'd like that assurance, because these are minutes of the September meeting. We've had the October meeting. Jill, the town clerk, has sent me the draft minutes of the October meeting. I've sent that to Vince. So it could be possible to catch up.
Yes, so I think that is a conversation that we can have in November, because the terms of reference hopefully will maybe capture this, because I think there is a conversation to be had whether or not the chairs of the committees report at the STC meeting. So it's not necessarily a requirement to have the draft minutes at the meeting, but I think that's a discussion to have at the next meeting.
Indeed, that is. Can you make note of that, sir? Thank you very much. That'd be really useful. Thank you. One little item that I can actually update on these minutes for was to do with the infrared camera provision, and I've had my replies from Deal and Ramsgate and Walmer, and the only one that had any sort of provision, as we quite possibly know, is Walmer does have their infrared camera. They paid £1,000 for their camera. They're not willing to share it with us at all. They said that their surveys are only undertaken by the actual council staff. So people make a request to have an infrared survey of their property, and then the council make arrangements to do that under local guidance from Walmer Parish Council. And when I asked them about whether or not they thought that it was worthwhile, they said that each survey or consultancy for the members of the public had an expenditure of about £6 for the actual device itself and the council, and the time for the officer, so that they undertake that. So at some point we'll have to bring that item forward on the next agenda, Heritage and Townscape, and then quite possibly, I don't know, Councillor Mallet may have an update as well there. So
Just
indeed,
one
Councillor
question. You've got answers to some questions, but one key question for me would be, what's the level of demand? So, that for me, if you're going to outlay £1,000 or thereabouts,
yeah.
What's the appetite?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I can tell you they've done 200 surveys, they said. So, but that's not in 1 year. That's over a couple of years.
I think this is something we should discuss at Heritage.
Indeed. I was just giving you the update.
Could you ask if they'd be kind enough to come and actually do a survey of this building for us? It's only one. We're not asking them to come and do 200, but I think it would be useful.
Indeed, sure, that's a very good idea. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Breen. Okay, so could I have a proposer and seconder for the Heritage and Townscape minutes, please? So Councillor Chuka and Councillor Franklin, thank you. And all those in favour, please show. And any abstentions?
2 abstentions.
2 abstentions, thank you. Any against that? That's good. That item's passed. Thank you. And to receive the minutes of the planning meeting held on the 13th September 2023, and this is attachment 2C. Do we have any questions or queries on the planning minutes at all? So, Councillor Marine.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's the same question as Councillor Longton. This one's out of sync as well. Will it be the same as the Townscape Heritage to get back to October's?
So again, this would be the same debate that hopefully everyone can have in November. When the draft terms of reference come for members to debate, it's really whether or not you think it would be valuable for the chairs of the committees to do a report on the STC meeting, which then doesn't necessarily mean you have to have the draft minutes, because the chair of the committee would do a report, or whether you prefer to have the draft minutes, it would be up for consideration.
Indeed, thank you for that. So, were there any other questions or queries on the planning minutes at all? No? Okay. Could I have a proposer and seconder for these minutes? So that's Councillor Wiles and Councillor Morehouse, I believe, was there. So, and all those in favour, please show. That's it. And those abstaining? 4 there. And any against? No? Okay. And those minutes are also passed. Thank you, Town Clerk. And lastly, to receive the minutes of the Finance and General Purposes Committee meeting held on the 18th of September 2023, and this is attachment 2D. Did we have any queries or questions on these particular minutes at all? No, that's okay. Could I have a proposer and seconder for these minutes, please? Councillor Carter's proposing. Do we have a seconder for the finance minutes? Councillor Wiles. And all those in favour, please show. Okay, and those that are abstaining? 2, 3. Okay, and any against? None. So those minutes have been passed as well. Thank you, Town Clerk. Okay, item number 5 is the payment schedules. 5A and 5B, we can do those jointly. 5C and 5D, we need particular information back. So this is 5A to receive and note the payments for mid-October, totalling £22,313.55. Those payments which are not supported by a minute reference have been authorised by officers with delegated powers of expenditure. And item 5B is to receive and approve the schedule of payments for October, totalling £24,902.49. Were there any queries or questions on item 5A and 5B, which are attachments 3A and 3B? Okay, could I have a proposer and a seconder for those items, please? So that's Councillor Franklin and Councillor Wiles. And all those in favour, please show. Okay, and any abstentions? No, I think that was all of those. So those are passed, those two items. Item 5C is the Council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise the end of October payment schedules on Bankline. And item 5D is the Council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise the mid-November payment schedules on Bankline. So I'm prepared to...
Sorry, Mr Mayor, I think there's a reimbursement. So,
oh, is there?
Yes.
Oh, indeed. Oh,
yes.
okay then.
Yeah, so
which one was that for? 5C or 5D?
I believe both of them. So I
Oh,
think
both. I thought it was just 5D, Karen said.
Ah, okay, that's fine then. If it is just one, I thought it was 2.
Oh no, oh, well that's what she told me.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
So I'm prepared to put myself forward for 5C.
Okay.
Is there anybody else that could do the October payment schedule along with me? Do we have any authorised?
I'm happy to. I can't do November because I'm away with work.
Indeed, thank you.
Okay.
So myself and Councillor Marie will do
Yeah.
October. And then for November, as the Town Clerk has pointed out, there's a reimbursement to the Mayor. So could I have 2 nominees for the November? So that's Councillor Wiles. So did we have any others at all? Councillor Franklin? Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Councillor Fortescue. So thank you very much for that.
Can I just check, Councillor Fortescue, are you all up and running on Bankline? Are you all live on Bankline? Sorry, it has to be somebody
Oh,
else.
indeed. Oh, sorry.
Gizmo.
I thought it was. Oh gosh, we're in a bit of a predicament. Then, Councillor Franklin, would you?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very
Thank
kind of
you.
you. Thank you for coming to our event also. That's it. Okay.
So you need to get that agreed.
Indeed, yeah. So those two items are 5C, 5D, and that is attachments 3B. Oh no, we've done 3B.
Yeah.
So those two items, could I have a proposer and seconder for those signatories to be authorised on that at all? Councillors Green and Morehouse. And all those in favour of those signatories, please show collectively. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Any abstaining or against? No, that's good. That item is passed.
Thank you.
Town Clerk, thank you very much. Item number 6, the Mayor's favourite part is the public participation. A 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representation at the meeting in respect of business on the agenda and other matters if time permits. Individual representations should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the Town Clerk prior to noon on the day of the meeting. Do we have any public
Yes.
speakers?
June Summerhays.
Oh, super. Oh, Mrs. Summerhays, would you like to come forward and meet with the... Now, could I just ask Councillor Black, are we continuing our arrangement?
Yes.
So,
Can you see me do?
Mrs. Summerhays, are you aware of the timing arrangement that we have here? So Councillor Black will explain to you.
The first 4 minutes will be green. I'll keep it green. At the start of the 5th minute, it will go to a yellow. At the end of the 5th minute, it will be a red.
Sounds like a football match.
Well, rugby is a better game, but
I won't be long. Thank you.
Please address the council. Thank you very much.
Tonight I want to speak about councillors' responsibility for collective decision making and the implementation of those decisions to ensure things work as well as possible. Rarely, if ever, will councillors all agree on anything, but it is beholden on them to try to win their arguments by reasoning and persuasion. By and large, that is what happens, but when one councillor will not accept decisions that go against him, that damages both the town and the council, and it's a problem. Last year I spoke about the Conservatives' corrosive influence. The public made it clear that they did not want any more destructive behaviour that the Conservatives engaged in and still do. People should be aware that Councillor Marie only stood as an independent because the Conservatives made their collective decision not to put anyone forward. That which we call a Conservative by any other name smells like a Conservative, and he appears to be joined at the hip to Conservative council friend. Some weeks ago there was a problem with a badly placed wooden sign that was a tripping hazard. It was a trivial problem, really trivial. One or two councillors attempted to place the sign out of harm's way. Not in the next parish, just a short distance. Councillor Marie could have worked with the STC councillors to resolve the matter quietly and amicably. Instead, he joined his colleague, and I use that word deliberately, councillor friend, in causing as much trouble and ill feeling as possible. They had their photo opportunity on social media and then created a huge splash on Kent Online. Worst of all, they encouraged a vitriolic storm on social media. Some residents were frightened by it. One resident wanted to post that they had tripped over the sign, but didn't dare because they were afraid of the potential backlash. What did he achieve? Nothing. Did he think it was good for the town? It wasn't. Then there is the issue of the possible charging for chairs and tables on the forecourt. Councillor Marie can't win the argument and won't accept collective decision making. So his response, along with his Conservative colleague, is to cause trouble. He started a petition. There is a link to it on the Conservatives' Facebook site, and apparently he has the support of our Conservative MP, Craig McKinley. Is Councillor Marie going to start a petition every time he loses an argument? Another councillor could start an alternative petition and get just as many signatures. What's the point? How does it help? It will be a majority decision, as it should be. Perhaps it's just another opportunity for the Conservatives to whip up more trouble. There is also an issue with the market. Yet again, Councillor Marie couldn't win his arguments and get his own way. So Councillor Friend set to with comments on social media. Meanwhile, Councillor Marie played a blinder. He told one trader, in his usual foul-mouthed language that I shan't use, that he hopes the market fails. Why would any councillor say that to a trader trying to make a living at the market? The trader said I could use that quote as long as I expanded. That having been challenged very strongly and told to grow up, Councillor Marie tried to backpedal. The trader didn't believe the backpedalling, and neither do I. No councillor can or should seek to control the decisions or the decision-making process by striking out on their own. This is a democracy. Councillor Marie should consider what sort of councillor he wants to be. Consider how he does not represent those people who voted for him as an independent. I wonder if he has ever looked around and considered how many friends he has in this chamber. I don't know the answer, but I suspect not many. These are not bad people, and they have an equal right to their views and should not be pilloried for voicing them. That should give him pause for thought. Does he feel good about himself? Is that how he wants to continue? The council is the vehicle for discussion and decision making in this parish, not social media or the Conservative Party. Collective responsibility.
Mrs. Summerhays, sorry, you're 5
One more
minutes.
line.
One more line.
I'm sorry, I didn't time it. I didn't want it that long. In my view, any councillor that says they hope the market will fail should resign. It's not good for the council and it's not good for the town. Could you give that to the clerk?
Indeed, I will. Thank you very much for that. Item number 7 on our report is the verbal report from Dover District Councillors on matters relating directly to Sandwich. Councillor Morehouse, did you have a report for us at all,
Thank
please?
you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the full council meeting on Wednesday, the 18th of October. The significant decision that was made was regarding the Climate and Ecology Bill, which is a private members' bill, which is due its second reading on the 24th in Parliament on the 24th of November. The Labour-controlled council voted to support the bill, and I was pleased to join them in voting for it because we have more than enough evidence recently of what climate change is doing. Secondly, I've been in contact with Roger Walton about 57 New Street, which is affectionately known as the Limes. And I did share the initial response. I have responded to Roger Walton's response and will update you when he responds to me. I've also brought into contacted Councillor Biggs about the waste collection because I've had some residents complaining about the new green waste collection and how it's not working for them. I await his response as well. I think that's it for. Oh, and one last thing, also may relate to what Mrs. Summerhays was saying. The vitriolic attack on me because I failed to turn up for 2 licensing committee meetings. The licensing committee meetings begin at 5:30 in the evening. I rarely finish work before 5, but I'm entitled to. I rarely do. I have a 75-minute commute from the other side of the Medway, and I cannot attend meetings at 5:30. I will probably offer my resignation as a member of the licensing committee if they cannot change the times. But I will be forwarding the post which attacked me to other members of Dover District Council, as well as the Conservative Party. I was a member of the Conservative Party for the best part of 30 years. It's something I now feel quite ashamed of. And that saddens me to say that, because when I joined, we had a very decent man leading the party, and now we just have a bunch of charlatans.
Thank you, Councillor Morehouse. Thank you. Item number 8 is to receive a verbal report from our Kent County Councillor on matters relating to Sandwich. Councillor Chandler, would you be able to address the council, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, councillors. So I wanted to start with the paper that went to Cabinet at its last Cabinet meeting and is in a slightly different format going to the council meeting on Thursday, which is headed Securing Kent's Future. Councillors will know that I have for some considerable time talked about the ongoing budget discussions with the council, the ongoing challenges we have in formulating the budget, making the budget balance, and going towards the end of this year, we are likely to have an overspend in this year's budget, and the formulation of next year's budget has already started. However, what I wanted to emphasise is that contrary to the media reports, some of the media reports, we are not at imminent danger of having to issue a 114 notice, which is the notice that councils effectively have to issue if the Section 15 officer deems that they are financially unsustainable. There is a plan in place, and that plan is absolutely aimed at keeping the council's budget in a sustainable format. That doesn't mean that there won't be significant challenges as we go forwards in preparing the budget for the next year. But that process has already begun. But I just wanted to emphasise that the sort of erroneous media reports in that respect. And anybody who's interested in that can find the papers for both Cabinet and Council on the KCC website. I wanted to mention Mental Health Week, which happened in October, and in particular an event which I was closely involved in and is close to my heart, which was the Big Conversation, which brings together young people from across Kent to talk about mental health with professionals who are delivering services both from the NHS, from schools, and indeed from KCC. But it gives an extremely valuable opportunity for them all to share what they feel is important to them, what they feel could improve their mental health and mental health services for young people. This is the second year we've held it, and it is always a particularly rewarding and successful event for young people. So I wanted also to mention, and I'm going to read some of this because it's I get the words right then. We have launched a nature recovery strategy called Making Space for Nature, which is being developed. So this is something that's been delegated to us from the Department for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs in full. But what is important about this is that it's a local approach, but it will be developed in collaboration with a whole range of partners, and that includes landowners. as well as Kent's residents. And the reason that that's important is because in terms of providing a much more comprehensive nature recovery strategy for Kent, it is extremely difficult to do that unless you involve the myriad of different kinds of landowners that there are across the county. KCC has long had an interest in various ways in nature recovery, not least because of its country parks, which are extremely successful. But this is a much wider collaboration which was launched and will go on with consultative events and the involvement of residents across Kent. I wanted to let you know, I suspect many residents in Sandwich will use the library in Dover, but nevertheless I wanted to let you know that the Dover Discovery Centre, which houses the Dover Library, is closed temporarily for a very significant refurbishment of that building. So the Dover Discovery Centre building has long been in need of some very significant repairs and restructuring to allow it to be utilised properly. Once that restructuring is finished, the library will be moving back, an enhanced library will be moving back, but in addition to that, the rest of the building will be utilised to provide office space for all of children's services for the Dover district, which are currently housed in some very substandard buildings on the other side of Dover, together with the nursery that's currently there and adult education. That will be a very worthwhile project to utilise properly a building which has long been in need of that modernisation. The clerk did indeed email me about Wayfarers, asking if I could confirm that the sale for Wayfarers had been completed, and I can indeed confirm that the sale for Wayfarers was completed in May of this year. And the last thing I have to report is that tomorrow I'm attending a skills conference at the Discovery Park. So I regularly attend a skills hub that is held there, which involves Discovery Park itself, several of the companies that are within Discovery Park, plus the 3 Kent universities, and works towards developing skills and expertise and drawing in all of those people to provide particularly science-focused employment opportunities for young people. They have a whole day conference tomorrow, which is Kent-wide, and should prove to be, I hope, an extremely successful but also extremely worthwhile event, looking towards future employment in the science industries, which can only benefit our town.
Thank you very much, Councillor Chalmers. That's very helpful. Are you prepared to accept questions, Councillor Wiles?
Yes, Wayfarers. You said it's been sold in May. Can you elaborate on who it's been sold to and who the provider of the ongoing care will be?
So the company that it's been sold to, I believe, from my memory, is a company called SSI Limited. Yeah. So they are not operational as of at the moment, but the understanding is that they will provide for residential accommodation for adults with learning difficulties. But there is no that. So whilst it may be the case that in the future Kent may decide to commission places, there is no direct link with Kent County Council in that respect.
So, sorry, SSI, they're a private limited company.
They are indeed.
And they will provide the accommodation for people with autism?
I have no idea whether they are providing it directly as their company or whether it is whether they are the owners of the building who will then lease, rent, whatever to a different company. We don't have that information.
Councillor Fortescue.
Could I ask how much the KCC overspent might be, and how this might impact on Sandwich?
Okay. So the overspend, the predicted overspend, bearing in mind we're only effectively halfway through a financial year, so it is a predicted overspend, which is somewhere, it looks as though it is somewhere in the region of 45 million. As I've explained before, the predominant contributors to this are in adult social services and children's social services and children and special educational needs. And the reason is predominantly to do with increased demand, so increased demand on all of those services, and the significant rise in costs that there has been in the provision of the services for those areas over the last 12 months. So, for example, in the area that I have responsibility for, which is children's services, where we have a predicted overspend of somewhere around 12 million on placements for looked after children, that is contributed to by a 12% increase in costs for residential accommodation overall. By a shortage of foster care placements, which is contributed to, is a national deficit in foster care placements, despite our efforts to maintain our own in-house foster carers. And those things combined will lead to that overspend. I should mention that we are in the lowest quartile nationally of cost per child in terms of looking after our looked after children, and we are in the lowest quartile nationally of the proportion of children that we have in care. And you'll all remember that we're an outstanding children's service. So it's not. It is a national phenomenon, the overspends that councils are seeing in terms of those what we call public-facing services, predominantly. So you're asking what impact that might have on Sandwich. There are proposed savings that were in the budget in this year, which will still have to be made, together with additional savings. Now those are still being, so some of the savings that were identified earlier on in the year are to do with finding different ways to deliver adult care, finding different ways to deliver savings in transport services for special needs children, for example. And that doesn't mean not doing it, it just means finding a different way to commission them and a different way to do it. But there are other things which are being considered. So we have a community services consultation earlier on this year which identified savings by better utilisation of our buildings, for example. From memory, it didn't include any buildings in Sandwich. I don't think, no, I'm pretty sure it didn't. It didn't include any buildings in Sandwich. There are a number of ways in which we're looking to actually make those savings. In terms of how that may directly impact on Sandwich, I think probably only in, I say only, I don't mean that in a sort of minimising way, but there are, for example, we would want to spend a lot more on highways improvements, or we would want to allocate more in terms of highway repairs, and we can't do that. So whilst that's not a specific, I can't say it's going to impact on that particular road or across Kent, it is nevertheless having that impact.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Chandler. Can I ask, we've got a very large agenda to get on with. Can I ask, is it a very short question, the very last question? Okay. If anybody else has got questions for the Councillor, can you please send them to her email address? Thank you.
It's not so much a question as a comment, and I don't mean this to be unpleasant, but I do think that Councillor Morehouse sets the example, a very good example, of reporting on precisely the actions that he has taken in relation to Sandwich. and I think it's not that helpful to receive from the KCC representative a number of general points about budget, mental health week, nature recovery strategy, data discovery centre and the library, and a skills conference at Discovery Park, which I don't think are actually of that great interest to Sandwich residents. What really matters to Sandwich residents is what, as Councillor Fortescue has asked, is the impact of KCC policies and actions, and what it is going to do in future, and what it's planning to do, and its impact on Sandwich. So it would be very much appreciated if you could direct your comments in that particular focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So, did you wish to reply, Councillor Chandler?
I think I do actually.
Okay.
I think I do. So whilst I absolutely understand your the direction of what you're saying, I think that there may well be instances where, for example, a nature recovery strategy that affects Kent may well be of interest to some of your Sandwich Town councillors. So I will endeavour to additionally see if I can, make that more pertinent to Sandwich.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for attending tonight, Councillor Chandler. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you wish, or if you have a pressing engagement, obviously.
I have pressing work to do, having been at meetings
Indeed.
all day, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 9 is the report from local police representative and community warden of Sandwich, and this is to receive reports from the local police representative and or community warden Peter Gill, if available. I just want to state that I did invite, we have a new police officer, and I did invite her along this evening, but unfortunately the police officer is on sick leave today, so unfortunately Lauren can't be with us. But I do know that the town clerk has a report, and she is going to take to the floor and read the report. So,
Understand?
yes, please. Indeed.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this is a report from the Warden, Peter Gill. Mr Mayor and members and officers, consultation. The public consultation concerning the proposed reduction of the KCC Community Warden Scheme ended on the 3rd of October. It is believed that in excess of 1,000 responses were submitted, with the information now being analysed for presentation in January 2024. The continued and prolonged uncertainty of the role has seen many community wardens leave the service for other work opportunities. Therefore, the likelihood of redundancies is minimal. A new model of working is due to commence in April, which will incorporate the significant staffing reduction, with those wardens remaining being redeployed according to identified need. It remains my intention to continue to work with and serve the people of Sandwich and the surrounding villages. The next section is about community. I continue to work within the local area with a focus on 3 specific areas: visual presence, community engagement and referrals. I have maintained the public surgery at the Thursday market whenever possible and support the Sandwich Pantry on a weekly basis. In addition, I have sought to work with Age Concern, churches, GP surgeries, Nationwide Building Society, the Co-op store, St Peter's Church and the varied shopping outlets within the town. I'm visiting several local elderly residents on a weekly basis, with age, isolation and dementia often being the reason for my welfare visits. Then he talks about a referral example. On Tuesday the 17th of October, I received a call late in the day from the grandson of an elderly couple living in Sandwich. He was concerned that his grandparents had agreed to pay an unknown roofer £3,200 for unknown roofing work. I visited the elderly couple and on arrival noticed that sand, cement, roof lining and ladders had been left on the drive to their property. A visual inspection of the modern bungalow roof identified 2 slip tiles over the front door area. The elderly couple were both living with dementia and confused as to what repairs were required. In my opinion, no repairs were required, as it looked as if the tiles had been deliberately dislodged. I discussed my concerns with the couple and their grandson and put into place safeguarding measures. The roofers arrived at the property on the following morning and were met by a reception committee. They agreed that their quote of £3,200 was excessive, removed all their materials from the drive and refitted the 2 tiles before leaving. Kent Police and KCC trading standards were appropriately informed of this rogue trader. This vulnerable couple were safeguarded, no monies were lost, intelligence was gathered, and it is very typical of a public referral received and actioned. Then he talks about neighbourhood policing. With the appointment of PC Matthew Hawkes to another role, I welcome the arrival of PC Lauren Eyre Jackson as the Sandwich and Part of Deal Community Officer. I have met Lauren twice and look forward to working in partnership with her in keeping Sandwich a safe and enjoyable place to live. I will leave any further introduction to Lauren, who will meet with you tonight or in the near future. I trust this report will give you a flavour of my work within the community. However, I remain available to meet with councillors to discuss issues and concerns as they arise. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Town Clerk. That's ideal. And I can guarantee that the new police officer will be attending the future sessions of the council, for which I've requested there. So, item number 10 is updates from councillors, and this is to receive and note verbal updates from councillors on meetings that they have attended as nominated representatives of the council. Do we have any such things? Councillor Marie, I think, was first. So.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, as STC rep for the town team, attended the meeting on Monday. Monday last week. You was there, and a couple of other councillors were there. There was, as always, a lengthy and detailed discussion about many items on the agenda for the town. Matters that arise was spoke about was the Richborough household tip, the Georgina Maddox legacy. It was agreed that the Richard Ralph, the chair, would do their documents for the consultation that's gone out by the Maddox working group. Also, the Thursday market was spoken about, and the tourism forum, which is going to be discussed tonight. The children's playground and the quay. Now, there was a large discussion regarding the money that was left by Southern Water. It was told by DDC officers at the time that it's only £15,000 and not £30,000. The Secretary, Carol George, is going to look into the last documents because she believes it was £30 originally. The other thing was yourself will be meeting with Roger Walton, DDC, regarding the limes. Disabled Bay on High Street is to be removed. The culvert bridge has been sorted out as we speak. Guildhall Forecourt, as Councillor Stuker was also there to have a discussion with the town clerk and the project officer regarding additional seating. The bus stop that we can move forward now with the details. And the HIP report, it was discussed that the HIP report is to be looked at again and maybe remanaged and re-looked at. The other thing was, it was the adequate phone signals in Sandwich. John Vanderbilt spoke to us about that, and myself and Councillor Tudor said we'll look into that in due course. So, working together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. And then I believe Councillor Black had a update for us.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to report, we did have a drop-in session at the Jubilee Centre. It coincided with the Sandwich Pantry. We had a number of people came to see us. We also met our new police officer, Lauren Eyre Jackson. I suppose it must be a sign of old age that police officers look young, but she's a very experienced officer. She's had 8 years on the beat in Dover. She is also one of the advanced drivers for Kent Police. So she is very well qualified. She is someone who's got a lot of experience, and I think she'll bring a lot of help to the town. Sorry to hear that she's unwell. I hope it wasn't anything we did to her at the Jubilee Centre. But that went well, and I think now, I think Councillor Chuka and others were thinking about having some more drop-in sessions. Venues still to be arranged.
Yes, thank you very much for that,
and
Councillor
Ripley, of course, as well.
Councillor Chuka was first, and then I'll come across to Councillor
Just a very quick update. The hearing, the planning appeal hearing is next week, relating to Whitefriars, and I'm still engaging with residents there. Helpfully they actually, on my request, but they followed it through, they undertook a petition around the estate, and all the people that signed it, which was 42, all are opposed to it. So it just gives us the backing and the sense of actually it's important we do represent their views next week, and there are a number of us here going. So it's not just councillors elsewhere that might be going, there are people in this room that will be at the hearing itself and putting forward arguments as to why the planning application shouldn't go forward.
Indeed, thank you for that. I
Sorry,
believe
just following on for that, I think it would be appropriate to have a show of hands to kind of to back up the people speaking at this, that the whole council is against this proposed development of 3 blocks of flats.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Breen. And then I believe it was Councillor Morehouse, wasn't
Thank
it?
you. There are 3 things I've got to mention on the DEC. Firstly, the Green Infrastructure Strategy consultation survey has been released. Secondly, I'm awaiting, hopefully this week, a response about the call-in request for the incongruous fencing for wayfarers.
Oh, good.
I
Could
should
you
have a
follow up
response.
on that?
And lastly, the community routes van will be in Sandwich on this coming Thursday, the 2nd of November.
Did you have times for the community van at all, shall I?
No.
Could you find out and please let the town clerk know, so that I think that's quite important, so that we know when and members of the public know when
I
that
believe it was on site between 9 and 3.
Yeah, market time.
Is it the market times, is it? Oh sure, yeah, I'd just like the members of the public to be able to make use of that service. So.
And I attended as an STC representative the Dover Area Committee of Kent Association of Local Councils, and out of that it was confirmed that KCC have scrapped the joint transport board.
Really?
Additionally, bus services from Deal to Canterbury have increased, but other services have been cut. So Councillor Ben Banner is going to ascertain whether DEC will create a district bus service for them in relation to the bus services. Additionally, the S106 agreements. Local councillors are being asked to check that these agreements are being honoured and check for non-compliance. And a request is being put in for a spreadsheet from Mike Davis, the Finance Director of DEC, for an allocations and income statement for S106 meeting. And finally, they announced a deal that's starting up its Warm Spaces initiative from December to April this year.
Well, thank you very much for that. That's very kind. Thank you for that update there. Councillor Ripley.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention about the green infrastructure strategy, that the consultation document has come out, which we've been looking at, and I'm putting together a response back for that document, which I will send around to all the other everybody, all the councillors tomorrow, for them to comment on before I submit it to the DEC.
Yeah. Could you do that via the town clerk, please?
The submission of it, yeah.
Yes,
sure,
thank you very much. Thank you for that. So, Councillor Anderson, was that the...
Until Councillor Ripley said that she's putting together the response, a draft response, presumably tomorrow, because I've been meaning to send you some stuff of my own.
No, that's fine.
So I won't do that, because you, or would you like that? I don't know that I'll be able to do it in time for tomorrow. We can talk about this.
Yeah, do you want to take that up after the meeting? Yeah. Councillor Morehouse, do you have one last...
I wanted to mention that there was due to be a presentation from Affinity Water about water resources management plans for new developments, but the speaker cried off ill. So.
Oh, shame, that's unusual. I must just very quickly because you've had one
Sorry,
go
Mr. Mayor,
already.
very quickly, I
Keep
forgot
it.
to do this one. Gaze and Salts Nature Reserve, STC rep and trustee, a new trustee. They had their first meeting of the year after their AGM, and the election of officers was Dan Flynn as chair, Jill Griffiths as secretary, Colin Miles company secretary, Malcolm Hall as treasurer, and they had a year's plan in place for what they're going to do. Thank you very much.
Indeed, thank you very much for that. So, item number 11.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, could we just have a vote on the fact that we're all against this wayfarers development, so that
That's not actually on the agenda, so that would not be democratic to undertake that. The planning committee is for any planning issues or concerns, and the planning committee would report back to this committee for anything like that. This item is not on the agenda. I can't allow spurious votes on aspects like that. It should go via the planning committee. So to do that, so was it you've had one go already, Councillor?
You need to be aware, I suggest, if you're not already, that someone is trying to portray themselves as putting a meeting together, age concerned, in the next couple of days, precisely about this issue of the planning. And I do think that Councillor Green's suggestion is very, very important, because people have to see that this town council is doing what it said it was going to do. I appreciate it's not directly on the agenda, but Mr. Mayor, I would suggest you might wish to think how we can explain to people.
Indeed, yeah, I do understand what's going on here, but it's very much that we should keep to this agenda. If it's not on this agenda, then we can't just have votes put forward. Town Clerk, would you like to come
I mean, the only way you can do it is an extraordinary meeting if you want to have another
I mean,
item.
I believe the Town Clerk's arranging an extraordinary meeting
Yeah.
Next week, is that?
It's likely to be the week after now.
Oh, the
But
week
of course,
after.
if you want 2 extraordinary meetings, of course that's fine.
All right, well, that wouldn't be in time, so, but yeah. It's,
well, sorry, then I would ask my fellow councillors to all email the town clerk to register their opposition against this scheme, so that the people, the councillors who are representing us at the forthcoming appeal can actually state that so many councillors have backed their decision.
okay, thank you for that. I can have no more discussion on this, I'm afraid. We've got to move on. This has not been accepted. Item number 11 is the Sea-Link project, which is the statutory consultation. Members to consider a report from the Town Clerk with details of the Sea-Link project and the consultation opportunity. And this is attachment number 4, and a decision is required on this. Members' recommendation is that members are invited to comment on the project and engage in the consultation opportunity, which closes on the 18th of December 2023, and the decision is required. I was going to ask the Town Clerk to collate information from the councillors on this. I personally think it's an excellent idea, because where this link is going, it's going to, instead of having on-land pylons, it's going to take all the cabling out to the sea. Very quickly, Councillor.
Sorry, I think this is such a big item.
Indeed,
We've got a
it
big
is.
agenda tonight. I don't think we should waste time discussing it now. We should perhaps have another meeting. It's a controversial proposal. Some are against, some are for. It's about net zero, 26 metre high converter building. There's a lot to look at. We need to have more time to look at this.
I agree. So,
not
Town Clerk.
Yes, so that was my intention, to bring this to you this evening so that you can have an opportunity to read all this information, and then it's for a future meeting, because we've got until the, what did I say, the 18th. Yeah. So it's going to be in time for the November meeting if members want to take that time. So
what we'll do tonight is we will note this report, and the Town Clerk will put something on an agenda so that it can be discussed in full. Very quickly,
Just very
Councillor
quickly,
Tupin.
picking up on Councillor Wiles' point, it is a very controversial project. Environmental impact is immense, but also the benefits of the project, at least how they're presenting it are also very important in terms of net zero and also energy security for the UK. So all I was going to say was there are two events coming up. One is the Save Minster Marshes campaign. They have a number of public meetings, one of which is on Thursday at St Mary's Arts Centre. So you can see it from an environmental perspective, what their arguments are and what their views are. But also National Grid are holding their own public consultations, and there will be one in the Guildhall on the 17th of November.
Yeah.
But that's 10 till 3, so it's basically a drop in and you'll get information.
Yeah.
So it's complicated. There's a lot of aspects. I think we should do our homework, and there are two real good opportunities to get both sides of the arguments.
Thank you for that summary. So the proposal is from the Chair to note this item, and the Town Clerk will be arranging a further agenda item so it can be discussed fully. Could I have a seconder for that motion? Thank you. Councillor Breen. Okay. And all those in favour of noting this item, please. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much for that one there. And item number 12 is financial information. To receive and note the Sandwich Town Council statement of accounts as at 30th September 2023, income and expenditure and budget, and this is attachment number 5. I would like to personally propose acceptance of these accounts, which I've been through myself. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Marie is seconding that, and I'd like to put that to the vote. All those in favour of the financial statements? Thank you very much. Okay, and item number 13 is the annual governance and accountability return 2022-23 and 2021-22. Members are to receive and note the audited annual governance and accountability return for 2022-23 and the external audit report, which has been received from the external auditor Mazars LLP. Members are to receive and note the audited AGAR for 2021 and 22 and the external audit report received from PKF Littlejohn LLP in September 2022. There's a decision required on this. This is attachment number 6 in your pack. Councillors are to receive and note the audited 2022-23 annual governance and accountability return and external audit report, and councillors are also to receive and note the audited 2021-22 annual governance and accountability return and external audit report. Councillor Marie, did you?
Acceptance, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And Councillor Franklin is seconding. All those in favour? And any abstentions? Councillor Ripley, just one. Thank you very much for that, councillors. That is a necessity that we have to undertake each year, and the RFO asked me to present that. Item number 14, draft social media policy. Members are to consider the draft social media policy that has been prepared by the Town Clerk, and this is attachment number 7, and a decision is required. I will accept questions from the floor from 1 per person. Thank you very much on this policy. Do we have any questions? Councillor Black.
Well, I think you've got a huge difficulty here. There's 2 areas in particular, which is again this one that has been discussed, which is when you're acting in your own capacity. I have no problems with this on official communications, none whatsoever. But we're all entitled to our own opinions on certain matters, and I think this is still too broad brush. I think that it's so unclear. Bringing the council into disrepute, what on earth does that mean? Clearly, if I was saying, well, you know, I really think there are a bunch of blah, 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 yeah, but where does it stop? And I do think that is still too wide. I recognise we've got to have something, but I'm not convinced.
Indeed, thank you for that, and you'll be able to vote on your opinion there. Councillor Chuka.
And I think in the spirit of the feedback from Councillor Black, we went through, because I was involved in some of the drafting, helping the town clerk on it.
Thank you.
We did meet with a few councillors and took their comments in, and it did change as it
Has changed, oh yes.
I think, you know, it would be impossible to dictate in a policy document all the scenarios that you would be happy with, and also the scenarios that you wouldn't be happy with. So, broad brush, but ultimately the responsibility lies with the town clerk to make the judgments, and that will involve the process of engagement with whoever's made the comments. But from my perspective, just to counter Councillor Black, I think it's actually got to a reasonable place and a policy that we should support, because we have too many examples within this town of where individuals, both within this room but also elsewhere, have contravened social media policy that isn't acceptable, in my opinion.
Indeed. So the recommendations tonight are that the council adopt this social media policy. So could I have a proposer and seconder, please? Councillor Ripley and Councillor Anderson this time. And all those in favour, please show. Okay, and any abstentions? 2. Thank you very much. That is passed. So that social media policy is now adopted, and it must be adhered to. So thank you very much. Item number 15 is the Maddox bequest update. Members are to receive and note the report from the responsible financial officer that details updates regarding the Maddox bequest. Attachment number 8. So we have a large number of items that we have had an update on, which is very useful and timely, and the recommendations are for members to make any suggested amendments and then approve section F, the investor profile, as required. Item number 2 is members are asked to approve the recommendations of the Maddox working group from their meeting dated the 5th of October 2023. And item number 3 are members are asked to consider the email from Councillor Wiles, item number 9 above, and approve a possible donation amount. So I would take, as I say, 1 item per person per question. So Councillor Wiles.
Just the third item there, I have to declare an interest. The email was, I sent it from my councillor email. I should have sent it from, because I was writing as a trustee of Gays and Salts, offering to do gardening work. So I won't comment or vote on that item.
Okay then, so item number 1, members to make any suggested amendments and approve section F of the investor profile. I think we'll vote on these individually. So could I have a proposal for item number 1, that's accepted? Thank you very much, Councillor Breen and Councillor Morehouse, seconding that. All those in favour of item number 1? Okay. And any abstentions on item number 1 at all? Thank you, just 1 there. Thank you, that is passed, item number 1. Item number 2, members are asked to approve the recommendations of the Maddox Working Group, dated 5th of October 2023. Could I have a proposer and seconder for that item? Councillor Morehouse is proposing, Councillor Franklin is seconding, and all those in favour of the working group's findings? Okay, and no abstentions, I believe. No. That's good. And item number 3, members are asked to consider the email from Councillor Wiles, item number 9 above, and approve a possible donation amount. And obviously Councillor Wiles will not take part in this suggestion. Councillor Chuka, have you a suggestion, please?
So yes, my observations would be that this isn't scoped out at all. The consideration within the working groups talking about getting the works done, that hasn't been progressed to a point. So I think this as an offer should be taken into the working group and understood, because I would want to know things like public liability insurance of individuals who are volunteers coming onto land that isn't attached to the area they volunteer. So there are some aspects that would need to be addressed, but also we're going into the winter period, so I'm not sure how much we can realistically expect to have done there, but there is work needed there at the moment. There are issues there, and people, some residents have been complaining about it. So my proposal would be to scope this into the working group and have a conversation with council.
Okay. And do you have a seconder for that?
I'm happy to second that, hence why we're
Okay,
noting.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Councillor Morehouse?
Declare an interest as a director of Gazing Sorts.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, and myself and
me.
And
so
Councillor
my
Moore.
second has to be removed then.
Yeah, so we need somebody else to second Councillor Chukas. Councillor Black, are you seconding that?
I'll second
Thank you
it.
very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Okay, and all those in favour of passing this particular item across to the working group, please signify.
Yeah.
And those that are abstaining or against?
Only abstaining because I'm.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you very much. So that has been passed.
Just as a point of information, our liability insurance does include working off-site. So,
Okay.
so Gazing Sorts could do this work, and perhaps a meeting on site just to talk about what's required would be
Indeed.
useful.
Thank you very much for making that that offer, Councillor Wiles, on behalf of Gazing Sorts. That is greatly appreciated. I'm sure it will save the council and the public a lot of money. So, and if you could present the public liability insurance to the working group, that would be greatly appreciated there. Thank you very much. So item number 16, it's a shame, I thought we'd got away with this, was the May election invoice from Dover District Council, and members are to receive and approve the payment of the invoice received from Dover District Council for the cost of running the May 2023 elections, and a decision is required on this. So the recommendation is councillors approve the payment of this invoice. Councillor Marie, did you have a question?
Yeah, just quickly, it's in within the budget, obviously it's an election year, so I propose acceptance of the payment.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a seconder for that, Tom? Thank you, Councillor Wiles. And all those in favour of payment of this invoice? Okay, thank you very much. That's been passed. And item number 17, IT support arrangements and digital communications. Members are to note, please no discussion in the chamber. Members are to note the report provided by Councillor Chuka, which details the progress on the tender exercise to procure a new IT support managed service and plans for undertaking the evaluation of received bids through an extraordinary meeting of Sandwich Town Council in November. And this is item number 10. So members are asked to note the information that is presented in front of us tonight. I personally would like to thank the IT working group for such an excellent amount of hard work that has been done in the last few months. This is a supreme example of the sort of calibre of councillors that we have on this council. And I don't say that lightly, because the work that has gone into this would, in other private companies or other councils, would have been contracted out and cost the council a lot of money. And I speak from personal experience for the organisation I work for. So I do thank the IT working group and Councillor Chuka for the excellent work that you've put forward into this. So that is very good. Thank you very much for that. That's excellent there. So, and this is to be picked up at the to be noted that it be picked up at a meeting, extraordinary meeting in November, and it's been fully evaluated. Could I have a proposer and seconder for noting this, please? Thank you very much, Councillor Anderson, and Councillor Black is seconding. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Was that one abstention?
I think so.
Oh, one abstention from Councillor. Thank you. Okay. Item number 18 is the Tourism Forum, and members are to consider the report from the Town Clerk with draft terms of reference for a tourism forum and agree the councillors who will attend the tourism forum to represent Sandwich Town Council. And this is attachment number 11, which gives us the recommendation that councillors are to consider these terms of reference and progress to adopt them, that the council agree the number of councillors to attend the tourism forum and appoint them to represent Sandwich Town Council at the forum meetings. So we need to do that tonight. So first of all, we're considering the terms of reference, and then we're going to propose the number of councillors and name the councillors that will be on this forum. I believe Councillor Marie's hand was up first.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few questions for the town clerk, if I may, just a couple.
Indeed.
So, can I ask why the council is adopting the terms of reference to the tourism forum when in June, June's Townsgate Heritage Committee meeting, when it was discussed and agreed that it would be a separate entity to the town council? This was spoken about at length on Monday's town team meeting, at last week's town team meeting as well. The other thing is, I feel that any financial implications should be drawn. I know that there is some budget for tourism within the Sandwich Town Council. I'm not sure about how much it is, but any financial stuff should go through the full council, not just the forum. The other thing was is that the forum should have no place or say in where the Visitor Information Centre goes. That is down to Sandwich Town Council because it's run within the Guildhall. I do feel that is a full council. The full council should be addressing that. Can I ask as well, so why only it mentions on there? It's quite. I don't know whether this is a draft or is it whether it's the fully one. Is to say it's why is it only allowed to work with Sandwich and Bloom when there are other different organisations within the town that can help promote tourism, such as the Community Events Association, the Medieval Centre, the History Society and the Arts Society in the town. And I've also put all the associations, businesses and members of the public should have their say in not just certain selections of organisations or groups, and this includes DDC officers and DDC councillors, both of them.
Did you want to present that to the town clerk,
I can,
that paper, so that
yeah,
she can...
It's written in draft, but I can type it in an email to you if you wish me to, yeah.
So do you wish to answer some of those or all of them tonight?
This was a draft document because I didn't really appreciate how the Tourism Forum members see that working. So it is just a draft, and it was really for debate and like you've done, comment and feedback, because obviously this is just a bare bones of something.
Just one more thing, sorry, Mr. Mayor. The one concern I have is when I presented my piece to the Townsgate and Heritage Committee, it was purely to have a tourism committee within the town council. That I was voted down against that, and the tourism forum was established. However, it's now being brought back into council. So is it going to be a council committee or is it going to be a forum? Because if it is a public forum and not within the council, then just a normal consultation, what's the word?
Constitution.
That's it, sorry, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Constitution would suffice instead of the terms of reference from Sandwich Town Council.
Indeed, thank you for that. Town clerk, sorry to ask, so was there a decision made in the Heritage and Townscape that would be separate, or that it would be, and I think we need to establish that before we vote on anything.
So it was my understanding that the Tourism Forum will feed into either the Heritage and Townscape Committee or Council. I don't think that was a decision that was taken at the time, but it's really for members to agree on whether you want the Tourism Forum to come direct to the Council or whether you want it to go to the Heritage and Townscape Committee.
Indeed.
That's a decision for this evening.
So I think Councillor Tuker was next, actually.
Yeah, just a couple of points. So I'd agree the Visitor Information Centre shouldn't be part of the remit in terms of where it will be cited within the terms of reference. What wasn't clear with it, and these are around the governance descriptions, whether there's a maximum number of representatives who can join the forum. That needs to be clarified. Who will judge whether a person wanting to join the forum should be accepted? The criteria is that they should have an interest and or expertise. So it's how that's very vague. It's very difficult to actually judge. As voting is to be used, what's quorate? That's not included. And also really key to have included it that one of the stakeholders is DDC Tourism. Their staff should be probably included as invited attendees to that forum as well.
Yeah,
thank you for
that
those.
was my intention.
Thank you for those points. Councillor Wiles.
Yeah, I think the terms of reference are clear that they're not going to make decisions about the Tourist Information Centre, but will make recommendations to to this council. We're responsible for tourism. The only thing I would add to them is that I think we need to avoid this becoming a talking shop. It needs to have power and a bit of vim and vigour to come back with firm recommendations, and those recommendations need to come back before the tourist season next year.
Indeed.
So that if we are making recommendations about the Visitor Information Centre being here or wherever, we need time to adopt that recommendation and to implement it.
We do, yeah.
So
my
time is of the essence.
All right, so my proposal is that because of the ambiguities within this document, it's very good of the town clerk to actually draft these out, and as she said, they are the bare bones. So I'm proposing that we defer any decision on this until the town clerk comes back with a revised version of this, incorporating the points that were picked up tonight, and if Councillor Marie can submit his points. So I'm only going to go to Councillor Black because he hasn't spoken already. So Councillor Black, you may stand.
It also boils down to what is Sandwich Tourism trying to offer. And that's why I said you need to include the Aqua Park. I do think you need to seriously consider bringing Richborough on board. And you also need to think about the Cape Mining Museum. And those are the sort of things, we've got to get out of this mindset, it's just Sandwich, it's not. People come to an area, not just one little thing. And there are other things, as Councillor Maria said, things like the medieval central and so on. There's a lot of diversity. But let's please make sure we have no blinkers and use people like Richborough, the Mining Museum and the Aqua Park. It's a total package we want to offer people.
Indeed, thank you. Councillor Anderson, I don't think you had spoken before, so did you wish to speak on this
Yes,
item?
I was just going to suggest that in order to accelerate things a bit, if the redrafted terms of reference could come to Heritage and Townscape, the next Heritage and Townscape, then there would be ample opportunity to discuss them there and make recommendations to the town council, which hopefully will go through.
Okay then. So is that okay, Tim?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, so we must make a decision on this. So the proposal is that the redrafted terms of reference and decisions on the body and the number of councillors that will be appertaining to that will be taken to the Heritage and Townscape meeting. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Marie? You've spoken already.
Just one thing, to amend your proposal, please. It goes on the next Townscape Heritage Committee, because we as a council, we also know that tourism is a big thing for Sandwich, and we are slowly losing time.
That's what I had said. It would go to the next Heritage. Are you seconding that, Councillor?
No, I wanted to add to the recommendations that we ask them to come back by March of next year with firm recommendations.
Right, I see.
Because we have to set the deadline.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. So do I have a seconder for that amended proposal? Okay. So, and all those in favour of taking that to the Heritage and Townscape, please? Okay, all in favour. Thank you, that's passed. Okay. Item number 19, local plan hearing dates, and the town clerk is to share details of the DDC local plan hearing dates when Sandwich will be discussed. Members are to note the report, and this is attachment number 12, and as I say, you have the 4 hearing sessions here on the item, and the proposal is to note these. So could I have a proposer and seconder for noting the hearing dates, please? Thank you.
I have a point to raise, please.
Oh, indeed, you can, Councillor Black.
This was pulled together in 2021, the Sandwich Town Council response to it. Most of us were not town councillors at the time. So therefore, I take it that we are at perfect liberty to say what we wish at this meeting, because we weren't elected to deal with this. This was an ancien regime approach, and there were a huge number of problems with it.
Indeed, thank you for that note. please note that although some of you weren't elected at the time of this, the conception of this local plan, it is your prerogative whether or not you wish to attend these hearing dates, and it is your prerogative if you want to read up on the DDC local plan and get up to speed with it. So tonight all we're doing is noting the hearing dates. So that's all. Was it appertaining to this?
Yes, I just wanted to express my disappointment that once again people in full-time employment are excluded.
I agree. Thank you for that. So that's the proposal. Can I have a seconder for noting the hearing dates, please? Councillor Ripley, thank you very much. And all those in favour, please signify with your cards. Thank you, that's unanimous. Thank you for that.
Could that be commented?
I beg your pardon?
Could that be commented?
Commented?
Times the fact that the...
Oh, I see, indeed. That could, I guess, could you take that back? Minuted to say that, yeah, that's true. Because that affects several of us in this chamber. So, thank you, Councillor Moorhouse. Item number 20, public conveniences winter opening hours. Members are to consider the recommendation from Heritage and Townscape Committee and agree the public conveniences on the Quay and Cattle Market remain open for the period 1st of November 2023 to 31st of March 2024, and a decision is required on this. And this is attachment number 13, and the recommendation is the public convenience on Sandwich Quay and Cattle Market remain open for the winter period from the 1st of November 2023 to 31st of March 2024, with the reduced opening hours of 9 AM to 4 PM for 7 days per week. Do I have a proposer for that? Thank you, Councillor Moorhouse. And are you seconding, Councillor Wiles? Thank you very much. And all those in favour of these opening hours, please signify. Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you very much for that, councillors. And that has been passed. Item number 21 is the Finance and Assets Working Group. The Finance and General Purposes Committees have decided to form a working group, the Finance and Assets. The terms of reference are to be received and recommended by Finance and General Purposes Committee, and this is attachment number 14, and a decision is required on this. So we basically here have the terms of references of this working group. So we are being asked to recommend these terms of reference. Do I have a proposer for them?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Councillor
I
Anderson.
have a question about the terms of reference.
Indeed, you may, Councillor Black.
Yeah, section 4, the quorum will be three. Three what? Councillors? It's not clear. I know it sounds pedantic, but it's actually critical.
3 councillors.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Black, for pointing that.
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wiles.
The first meeting is going to be on the 8th of November at 4:30.
Oh, thank you very
So
much.
if you have any agenda items for that introductory meeting, could the councillors email me perhaps, and I'll talk to the town clerk about the agenda that's to be issued.
Thank you very much for that. So, did you have a question or are you
Yes, just one
proposing?
question about the meetings. In the event that there's a meeting with a councillor who is not part of the group and there is a confidential matter, can that councillor remain?
Yeah.
So, are you talking about a working group or a committee?
Working group or committee, where it is dealing with this particular matter.
So technically, in a working group, there shouldn't be anything confidential because most of the time it's not decisions; it's they're doing recommendations. But clearly, what should happen is if a member is not a member of that committee, if they're not appointed to the committee, then technically they shouldn't be there for a confidential item because they're not part of that committee. So it's you know sometimes it's a need to know basis, and it's not very appropriate for everybody to know. You know, if you talk about staffing matters, usually the Human Resources Committee will debate.
No, it was this particular committee.
Right, okay, well, yeah, in this particular committee, if you're not appointed to the working group and it was a confidential, then yes, you shouldn't stay for that item.
Okay.
May I please
Did you have a
raise an issue
second question?
that the standing orders, which we have agreed, say that any councillor may sit on a committee and it will be full participation, that's the adjective, but they may not be allowed to vote. So I'm sorry, I have to disagree with your interpretation. This came up at the last meeting, and it was stated it's full participation. So please, let's get it right. We agreed the standing orders, we should adhere to them.
Yeah, taking your note, Councillor Black, and I'll have that conversation with you outside the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, very last
I just
question.
want to add a point. This is about a working group, not about a committee.
Indeed.
And they do have different contexts, and the working group, there is a working group set of terms of reference, and I'm delighted to see that they've been incorporated into this document. So it's not a committee, it's a working group.
So the proposal is to accept these terms of reference. Do I have a seconder? With the, could I just say in front of Councillor Black, with any amendments that Councillor Black has suggested? Seconded Councillor Mrs Carter there.
Yeah.
And all those in favour of these terms of reference with the amendments? Thank you. Okay, that was unanimous. Thank you very much. So, okay. And item number 22. This is proposal for fees for the Guildhall forecourt. The town clerk is to share a report to confirm the details of a meeting that has been confirmed with event organisers. Members are requested to agree the councillors that will be attending these two meetings to represent Sandwich Town Council, and the recommendation is that the council agrees the councillors attending the meeting with event organisers and a subsequent meeting to be confirmed with the local businesses to represent Sandwich Town Council. And I'd like to point out on this item that we want people on this group that do not have predetermination or bias to be on this group. And that's all I'm going to say. So anybody that goes on this group, I have been told, to use the right terminology by the town clerk, must have a 100% open mind. So if anybody's made any decisions on this forecourt group, you should stand down and not stand up for this meeting. And I'm opening the floor to suggestions. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I thought, I'm not quite clear, I thought that it had already been agreed that the members of this, the people who will be meeting on the 1st of November at 4 o'clock with event organisers should be the chairs of all the council committees, plus Councillor Chuka, because he's been doing some work on comparative comparative charges and so on. Am I not correct?
You may well be actually, because the town clerk did actually give me some names, but I didn't
So
know.
yeah, I think that was a suggestion, that was a proposal, but it hasn't been formally voted.
Okay.
So that's why it's on the
Okay,
agenda.
so that would be a proposal that you could take
I would
forward.
like to make that proposal.
Okay then, super. And before we go to the vote on that, were there any more questions? Councillor Marie.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm attending Wednesday's meeting as an event organiser, as chair of the Sandwich Festival. I'm not attending as a councillor. So the other thing is the one regarding the small businesses on the square. If I can make a proposal, I'd like for it to be open to all councillors to attend, because I was to attend that meeting as a councillor. I have no bias. I have purely, I have an open mind. Nothing's been decided yet, but hence I have made that petition. The petition is in my private name, not as a councillor. So after speaking with some of the businesses in the town, hence why I've done it. So I would like to attend as a councillor for businesses with an open mind, to have a discussion, a round discussion with everybody, to discuss what actions will take place. I may disagree with you, I may not. I may say, okay, some fees, not so much fee. I'm going there as an open mind. That's my opinion.
My personal opinion, Councillor Marie, is that you shouldn't be a party to any of these discussions after what you've posted publicly. So, and whether it's privately or as a councillor, that is my personal opinion. That's not an opinion of the council, but it's down to this council to decide the members. But I am quite astonished at your behaviour. So, Councillor Chuka.
From my perspective, personal opinion as well, I can't really let that pass because some of the posts on social media, Facebook, have been very critical of the town council, of which Councillor Marie is a councillor, of particularly about the tables and chairs. So anybody can look at them, they're there available, it is a predetermined perspective, it's not an open mind, so that's my personal view. However, in terms of the events discussion itself, it's not a council meeting, so it shouldn't be in the public, but I would suggest for transparency and to avoid misreporting, misquoting, we should have it recorded and streamed after the event. Therefore, it's an open book for people to see, both the councillors who attend, but also the events organisers who attend. I would strongly recommend that and propose that. And secondly, it isn't a decision-making activity forum.
That's
it is
correct.
for fact gathering to bring back to the council. So
Exactly.
it's not a pressure point to try and get decisions turned over or implemented.
No. Can I ask, before you sit down, that if Councillor Anderson will adopt your amendments. Councillor Anderson, you have the proposal on the floor. Did you want to accept?
Absolutely, I very strongly support this idea. I haven't thought of it before, but the meeting should be recorded and that it should be available, perhaps not as the meeting continues, but immediately afterwards, so that people can observe what has taken place.
Thank you very much for that. And lastly, Councillor Wiles, did you have a question?
So two things. One, unless you're making a proposal, I'd like to propose which member should be at the meeting.
Indeed.
Which is yourself, myself, Councillor Anderson, Councillor Zucker and Councillor Franklin.
Indeed.
I think I agree with the notion of filming, but I think we have to put that to the participants, because if they decide that they're going to, it might inhibit them from revealing confidential commercial information about their income, their expenditure. So we have to be wary of that. So I think maybe at the start of the meeting we could say, are you happy for this to be filmed?
Exactly.
We're happy for it to be filmed as a council, but are you happy as well?
Yes, I agree.
It might stop them talking.
Indeed. So, Councillor Anderson, do you accept?
Well,
it's your proposal to put forward.
Well, the amendment would presumably be that we would favour recording, but that we would accept if the events organisers do not wish to have that recorded, that we would have to take that into account and not record. I think that would be unfortunate for both sides.
Indeed.
That's what they decide.
So, did you have a question, Councillor?
Just a comment. Nobody on the committee will have had its direct experience of running an event on the forecourt. And I do appreciate this is both market.
Yeah, I beg to differ with you. I had 12 years.
Oh, I'm sorry,
of putting events on the
yourself.
forecourt. So.
My apologies.
Indeed. Councillor Ripley.
There's just a question about this meeting on the 1st. Are other councillors allowed to be here, or is it just purely for the those members that have been voted on?
It will be the ones that have been chosen to attend the meeting, and then they will be feeding back the information.
Okay, so we can't go as
you
just
would hear what it is, yeah.
Okay.
So, okay then. So the proposal that we have from Councillor Anderson is that for the members of the chairs of the groups, including the mayor and Councillor Chuka, for the work that you've undertaken on the work there. So, were there any other amendments that I've missed? Beg your pardon, no. So, and the filming will be questioned as to the participants on the day. Is that correct?
Well, we haven't actually agreed who's going to chair this meeting. And I think we do have to make that decision.
Indeed.
Whether we should make it now, I don't know. But I think it should be the chair's responsibility to put it to the whole meeting about
The film.
recording.
Indeed.
I'd like to propose the mayor chairs meeting.
Would that be, what's the aspect of this? Would it be for me to check?
Yes, I think that would be.
If that's okay. So part of the proposal would be for the mayor of the day to chair the meeting, if that's okay. One final question.
Sorry, can I just be clear? Is the town clerk going to attend this meeting?
Yes.
2 minute that, yes, thank you. Thank you. So that would be the proposal. Did we have a seconder for Councillor Anderson's proposal? Councillor Morehouse, thank you. And all those in favour of that proposal? Okay, and those abstaining? No. Okay, and those against? That's 2 there. Okay, that proposal's been successful. Thank you very much for that, councillors. Okay, I've now got another proposal for you. Before going into confidential, I'm proposing that we actually take the confidential item to the end of the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund. So I'd like to propose that. Councillor Morehouse, you seconding that? Oh, super, thank you. And all those in favour, please raise your cards, please.
So is that Councillor Anderson's the second?
Oh, did she?
No, I didn't see.
Okay, well, they both went up at the same time. I'm not quite sure who was first. I need to review the video. So that will temporarily conclude the Sandwich Town Council meeting, and we will move. What time have we got up there? So is that
Coming up to 9 o'clock.
coming up to 9 o'clock? So I could give a short comfort break to anybody that needs a comfort break of say 5 minutes maximum. To comfort break, there are 2 lots of facilities. Please use all of them, and we will rejoin in 5 minutes to undertake the Tollbridge Fund. Did you want to get off?
Okay.
That's it.